people of the world. So much Monday, so much July 27th. Welcome. Today on Marketing as a Foreign Language, what Google says about nofollow, sponsored, and UGC links in 2020. Does it affect your SEO rankings? 1,000 ranking factors, how Google finds signal through the noise, 25 link building stats for your SEO strategy, 5 ways SEO and web design go together, 7 brand health metrics and how to measure them. Facebook has a PR problem, apparently, not a long-term revenue problem. And last but not least, Facebook ads boycott. What will be the measure of success? Marketing as a foreign language starts right now. Oh my gosh, what does Google say about nofollow, sponsored, and UGC links in 2020? In recent years, Google has made several changes to their link attributes. Here's an overview of the basics and expert advice on how to boost rankings. Here's your 30-second summary. While nofollow links solely dominated the web for 14 years, Google recently announced two new additions, sponsored and UGC links. Shortly afterward, Google made further amendments to all 3 links. This article breaks down where things currently stand, and we talk about the impact on ranking. So whether you're an SEO, search engine optimization newbie, or a seasoned pro, we're sure you're familiar with the cardinal rule of the game: evolution. Apparently, stagnancy isn't a common sight in the digital marketing world. Google is constantly releasing new updates. So let's start with what is a nofollow link. A nofollow link is a hyperlink with the, as you can see here, rel equals nofollow tag. Many times you don't realize that this is happening. For example, if you're on Twitter or Facebook and you add a link, it has this in it. The web designers, by and large, on websites, when they allow other people to post links, will put this nofollow tag there, because if they don't, then they will get absolutely inundated with spam. Why would they be inundated with spam? Because there are so many spammy SEO people running around the world. If they find a website that does not automatically add this nofollow tag to user-generated content, well, then you have a billion links on that website in short order, and most of them go to places that no one really wants to go on the internet. What does this mean? To put it as simply as possible, the nofollow tag signals search engines to ignore a link. The destination URL doesn't get a boost in search engine rankings, as nofollow links don't pass page rank, an algorithm that helps Google rank web pages in search engine result pages, SERPs. When it comes to link building, receiving a nofollow backlink can be a bummer, as your rankings are left in a state of limbo. While web users are redirected to your website, the domain that offers you the link simultaneously informs Google to not send any, quote, link juice your way. However, nofollow links still have hidden perks. They drive traffic, despite leaving rankings untouched, increase brand awareness, and help leads discover and familiarize themselves with your business. But wait, why are nofollow links used in the first place? Google originally announced the concept of nofollow links in 2005 to fight comment spam. They were quickly embraced by the SEO world and are frequently used to avoid breaking SEO rules set by Google. So if you have, for example, it's like Facebook links are nofollow, Twitter links are nofollow. I mean, almost every link on the internet is nofollow. I think it's a large percentage. And so if you put a link on a website, or someone gives you a link and it's a nofollow website, and someone clicks on that link, I would argue that the fact that they came from another website and they stick on your website, there's got to be an SEO benefit to that. Even if link juice is not being passed, links that added value to content but couldn't be vouched for were categorized as nofollow. We get it. But what changed? While nofollow links had been extremely effective thus far, they were an oversimplified solution to a complex problem. Instead of taking subjective intent for including hyperlinks into account, they offered a cleanly demarcated black and white scenario that proved to be a nuisance for many businesses. The only 2 options were nofollow links or do follow links, the latter being the default for the hyperlink. And now, the introduction of sponsored and UGC links. In 2019, Google announced 2 major additions to standard no-follow links, sponsored links, and UGC links. Marketers heaved a major sigh of relief in the announcement's wake, as they could now use the 2 new attributes to help Google better understand the link's intent and use. But that's not all. In March 2020, Google made further amendments to its previous announcement. Here's what things currently stand like. Okay, sponsored links. According to Google's latest update, a sponsored attribute, rel equals, quote, sponsored, is the code, is specifically used for hyperlinks that are promotional in nature. Prior to their creation, paid links were categorized as no-follow links, which proved to be extremely misleading. So, there you have it. So, we can say this is a sponsored link. So, it still gets link juice, I'm assuming, but we're letting Google know, hey, look, this was paid for. This is an advertisement. Enhanced categorization and less confusion. Link receivers and providers can easily decipher sponsored links from untrustworthy no-follow links. UGC links, user-generated content, UGC, attribute was created to help Google determine which links are, as the acronym indicates, generated by users. This was a lifesaver. We're not exaggerating, apparently, for webmasters who had been struggling to indicate that specific hyperlinks were not endorsed. They were just created by users. The UGC attribute is used to link to sections of websites where users generate their own content, comment sections, forums, etc. And then no-follow links. Google's latest announcement took the weight off no-follow links, literally. Previously, the no-follow tag was used for both paid and user-generated links. However, the new categories, sponsored links and UGC links, made things much simpler by placing paid and user-generated content in different categories. The no-follow tag is now solely used for non-trusted links. There you have it. There you have it. No-follow tag, which I would argue much of the internet still completely has, is used for non-trusted links, period. Now, if there's a paid link, I wonder what Google's going to use that data for eventually, if they're going to go after these people that are saying they paid for this link, because you're not supposed to pay for the links. And then user-generated content links. Well, it seems to me almost that Google should be able to tell that. Shouldn't they be able to tell that it's a comment section, that's a forum? While no-follow links were not used for crawling and indexing before, Google's 2020 update indicated that they would be used as a, quote, hint for crawling and indexing. While people quickly began to consider this a win for ranking purposes, the picture wasn't as rosy as it was made out to be. Currently, each of the 3 links, no-follow, sponsored, and user-generated content links, are used as a hint, not a direct ranking factor. Interesting. So, now you know. 1,000. Let's go back. So let's summarize this. If there's a link on a website and you don't know what kind of link it is, sadly, the only way you can figure it out is by right-clicking, see that? And then going to View Page Source and looking at this garbage. Now, this is going to be crazy for most people. No follow. So you would literally have to go into the code to try to figure out if it's a no-follow link. And that is rel equals, quote, no follow. There you go. So here is a no-follow link. Actually, that's them referencing that in the text. Anyway, yeah, so it's going to be tough. It's tough to know what a website is using, whether it's no-follow, UGC, or whatever. The only point that I guess I could make for you is if you have a website, you might want to consider using this rel UGC tag if you have user-generated content, because Google will probably shine its glorious light of dollar bills in the forms of good rankings if you use this user-generated content tag more often. What I assume is going to happen is people that create WordPress plugins are going to be adding this automatically in the plugin. So this is some pretty heavy stuff, guys. I don't know if how far down the SEO game you've gone, but it's good to know about these 3 things, putting them into practice. I mean, what's the likelihood that a small business is going to be using a rel sponsored tag? probably pretty slim, but at least you're now aware of them and what they mean. 1,000 ranking factors, how Google finds signals through the noise. Here we go. Link Graph's CTO Manik Bond explains how machine learning is helping us better understand how Google finds and evaluates content quality signals. Here's the summary. Google has the ability to measure content quality signals like never before, and with each new core update, they understand content quality more as humans do. Google uses different search models depending on the search query, meaning ranking signals can vary depending on search intent. In a recent correlation analysis in the sports ticketing industry, the top factors that correlated with good rankings were long-form landing page content and high domain authority. So long-form landing page content, call it 1,000 words, 20 pictures, maybe a video. High domain authority would be you've got a bunch of links from a bunch of different places. You've got a ton of great social media. You got a lot of love coming to the website from the internet at large. Given Google's guidance about their forthcoming 2021 Web Vitals update, page experience and performance are likely going to become more essential for ranking on page 1. And LinkGraph CTO explains how machine learning is helping us to better understand how Google finds and evaluates content quality signals when ranking pages. So let's see. Let's dive in. In the last decade, the academic fields of machine learning and natural language processing, NLP, have made great strides. Starting around 2012, Google's search algorithms evolved beyond regression-based models towards deep learning. Google's ranking algorithm has now become a black box. It's the Coke recipe, if you will, and even their engineers find it challenging at times to understand why their models produce the results they do. This is an interesting point. I've contended now for quite a while that even the engineers themselves can't really dive into the code and change it in a way that guarantees a certain outcome. Once you have machine learning, once you have the machine making decisions based on parameters that you set, it's kind of like beating the chess program. You're not going to. No human is going to take out the top chess computers at this point. So when we go in and we try to tweak with why that chess AI makes the decisions it does, we're still playing in a realm of ignorance, I would argue, which is to say, at times to understand why their models produce the results they do. Exactly. The engineers find it challenging at times to understand why their models are doing what they're doing. Ultimately, we know their goal has always been to bring the highest quality. We get it. Every core update is consistent with what they've been telling us for years. They reward high quality pages and penalize low quality sites and spam. So yes, higher quality content, fast, snappy user experiences, increasing site authority and reputation. We get it. What can be frustrating for webmasters is Google's lack of specific guidance, exactly, about which specific ranking factors matter the most to their specific industries. When studying how certain properties like page speed, text content, and backlinks relate to rankings, advanced SEOs are turning to correlation analysis, right? And machine learning tools to better understand how Google finds these signals through the noise. So we look into an industry-specific correlation analysis and what we learned about the primary drivers of search engine rankings. So this is it. This is the map. To better understand these signals, we studied the correlation of 18 important ranking factors across 200 searches in the sports ticketing vertical. Why sports ticketing? God knows. Each keyword has a cost per click of over $8. So what we discovered was that the most important factors that were correlated with top rankings were high domain authority and long-form landing page content. So when it comes to high domain authority, I mean, that's like saying, be ESPN.com, be CNN.com. You know what I mean? High domain authority. Yeah, that is a result of a ton of backlinks, fantastic social media, and a lot of people coming to your website. So high domain authority, yeah, obviously you want to be ESPN.com, but good luck becoming ESPN.com. What you can do here is create long-form landing page content. So that's the takeaway here. You're not going to overnight get high domain authority just because reasons. That's a struggle that's going to take a long time. Long-form landing page content, rather, you can do in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Domain organic traffic value, URL organic traffic, and page load speed were among the weaker correlations. That's interesting. I would argue that page load speed is incredibly important. URL organic traffic. Unfiltered backlink count and referring domain counts themselves were not as strongly correlated as metrics like Moz's domain authority, which differentiates between low-quality links and high-value links. So unfiltered backlink count. Okay, so you've got 20,000 backlinks and 19,800 of them are no-follow. And referring domain, so you're getting visits from Facebook and Twitter and this site over there, that's the referring domain. Counts themselves were not as strongly correlated as metrics like Moz's domain authority. Right, so domain authority is more important than, look, you can have like 72,000 backlinks from a crappy website. That's not going to help you. That's what this is saying, which differentiates between low-quality links, what I just described, and high-value links, right? So if you are part of like a lawyer collective and you've managed to get like 6 lawyers to link to your website and you're a lawyer, those are high-quality links. Additionally, Majestic's trust flow and citation flow metrics proved less correlated to ranking on the first page than Moz's domain authority. Okay, so Majestic's trust flow and citation flow metrics proved less correlated. So it's Moz's domain authority. They are the kings of the mountain. Okay, for the startup client we were working with, the analysis taught us that maximizing the amount of page rank on their most competitive landing pages was critical in order to contend with the heavyweights. All right, so long form landing pages. There you have it. 5 ways SEO and web design go together. Well, there's like a million ways, but let's read the summary. If you're thinking about having a site designed or redesigned, it's important to understand the complex relationship between SEO and web design. That's true. While designers focus on the aesthetic look of a website, the SEOs focus on optimizing the site for search engine rankings. The desired result is the same, a site that gives visitors what they want and helps your business grow. This is clear. Thank you for the like, whoever just hit that. SEO expert at UENI, Javier Bello, discusses how SEO and web design can work together to create a successful business. Okay, so the key points here: mobile friendliness, website speed, user-friendly, site maps, fresh and engaging content. Okay. Let's not forget that if somebody redesigns your website and they change the URLs, you have to redirect those URLs. Does that make sense? Also, thank you to whoever just hit the like button. Point being that I've seen countless websites where a web designer comes in and how the heck can anyone keep up with all this? Asks Esther Sass. That's a great question. I wonder how I can keep up with all this sometimes. It is like, I don't know. It's like anything else. You go down the rabbit hole and you're down the rabbit hole. So not to mention it's all going to change tomorrow. So mobile friendliness, but trust me, like if you keep listening, you'll hear the same things talked about over and over and over and over and over again. And you'll realize that, there's just nuance on the same themes. So anyway, if you want to have a SEO person or you want good Google rankings, mobile friendliness is huge, right? So if you go to the mobile version of a website, it's got to load fast. It's got to have the content, the same kind of content. And there's something called AMP, accelerated mobile pages, that you might want to take a look at. Website speed, come on. That's obvious, right? It's got to load quick. There's a number of things you can do. You can add caching, but you really do need a qualified web developer to walk you through all of the reasons why a site might be loading slowly or quickly. There's a million different reasons, from the server that the website is on all the way to the code and what's loading and why it's loading the way it's loading. So this is something that I could barely even tackle, website speed. I guarantee you there are people that specialize in website speed. That's what they do. They just roll in and fix website speed issues. At Send It Rising, obviously, we produce really snappy, quick websites and website redesigns. User-friendly, okay, we get it. So you want the homepage of Google, not the homepage of Yahoo. You don't want 75,000 links. You want something super clean. User-friendly is the way to go. Site maps are a little bit 2015, but yes, you want a site map on your website so that the spiders can easily crawl it. There are easy ways of adding site maps to websites. A plugin on WordPress is one example of that. And then here's the entire point: fresh and engaging content. If you have a successful show, If you have a successful YouTube channel, if you have a successful Facebook page, then you're going to rank. If you do it the right way, it's so much easier to start with successful social media and then move into SEO than it is to start with successful SEO and somehow get successful social media. So this all comes from what I would argue is the primary focus of anyone in marketing in 2020, which is fresh and engaging content. That means streaming to me. I've talked about this ad nauseum multiple times. If you want to get into Facebook now, yeah, good luck. It's very old. Facebook is super duper old. Twitter, like the niches have been carved out. The space has been carved out. YouTube, I would argue, is old. YouTube streaming is not as old, which is to say TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn to a certain extent. That's pretty much it. And streaming, right? Twitch, streaming. These are avenues that you might actually be able to experience some success. And there are going to be SEO benefits of getting popular on those platforms. 7 brand health metrics and how to measure them. Ooh, brand health metrics. Who doesn't love a brand health metric? Net Promoter Score. Never heard of it. Net Promoter Score is calculated based on your customers' responses to the following question. How likely is it you would recommend your company, product, service to a friend or colleague? The scoring is most often based on a 0 to 10 scale. The responders are then grouped into 3 categories: promoters, passives, and detractors. Oh, goodness. Share of voice. Well, this is some serious like marketing branding stuff. Brand health metrics. Okay. I'm not sure I care about brand health metrics. These are all fairly, I don't know. I'm bored. Moving on. Facebook has a PR problem, not a long-term revenue problem. Many brands rely on Facebook to reach their audience. Duh, Facebook is under siege, according to Kim Davis at Marketing Land. The movement to persuade advertisers to pause their ad spend for the month of July, #StopHateForProfit, is an organized one backed by groups ranging from the NAACP to the Anti-Defamation League and Color of Change. It's made for splashy headlines. To lose business from companies like Microsoft, Unilever, and Verizon isn't good. We've talked about this. We're aware of this. I am still curious how Facebook stock is reacting to this. Facebook stocko is, it's down a little bit. Whoop-de-doo. Look at that. Whoop-de-doo. It's actually up from like February of last year. It's up. How is that? That's just still crazy. Facebook is just a monolith. They are a monolith. All right. So Facebook ads. All right. Let's see what Kim has to say about Facebook. Could a boycott kill Facebook? Not according to the stock price. As a BBC headline dramatically asked, in theory, it could, I guess, under Facebook's current ad-based business model. Speaking on the BBC Today program, David Cumming from Aviva Investors said that, quote, the loss of trust and perceived absence of a moral code could, quote, destroy the business. Then why is their stock doing so well? It's not that simple, of course. Boycotts by advertisers make for bad headlines, and losing your third largest advertiser, Microsoft, is bad business, but it has been pointed out that Facebook doesn't depend on these kinds of advertisers for the bulk of its revenue. Yeah, small businesses spend. The top 100 spending brands account for around 6%. Whoop-de-frickin-do. 6% of Facebook's ad revenue. The overwhelming majority of which comes from small and mid-sized businesses. Exactly. Because the difference between Microsoft and Joe's Plumbing Shack is that Joe's Plumbing Shack needs that revenue like bad. You understand? Like, let's say Joe's Plumbing Shack ranks 12th on Google. And, you know, they're running Facebook ads like $400 a month. And they're getting enough new clients to kind of, you know, get the ball rolling in the right direction. Is Joe's Plumbing Shack going to turn off Facebook? You know, when doing so might take food off their kids' plate? I don't think so. Not according to Social Bakers CEO Yuval Ben Itzhak. Social Bakers provides a platform to manage and blah, blah, blah. He said there is no credible alternative at the scale of Facebook for brands to reach engaged audiences. And I think he's right. I mean, there's no one else in the marketplace that lets you demographic target in the way that Facebook does. Like, brand or brand health. Writes Esther Sass. It's brand health. It's raising brand health. Thank you, Esther. So yeah, here's the whole point. You can target, 35-year-olds who drive a specific truck and work in a specific industry and live in a specific zip code on Facebook. Try doing that on LinkedIn. Try swinging by Twitter and marketing to people who make over $100,000 a year that live in the Charlotte area who are married to dentists. You know what I mean? It's just Facebook's got it covered. So apparently it's not easy being Zuckerberg. Whether Facebook decides that the PR crisis itself merits fundamental rather than cosmetic changes in policy, it is ultimately in Zuckerberg's hands. It took less than 2 minutes for us to find a white nationalist account on the platform today using some obvious search terms, as of course is Kim Davis writing on marketingland.com. Quote, "It's not easy to be Mark Zuckerberg these days," says Ben. "No matter what Facebook decides, there will be people who will disagree. As an organization that is constantly learning, I do expect we'll see some adjustments to policies and content will be labeled according to updated guidelines." I imagine Facebook over the next few years is going to have a lot of, it's like they're going to be like speed limit signs, right? Like you'll post something and this little speed limit sign will come up and it'll say, this may be flagged as hate speech, right? It's going to do that. Or this may be like a prejudiced post, or this might be factually inaccurate, right? So it's going to read and understand what you're posting. It'll understand an image that you're about to post and say, this has been linked to fraudulent this or whatever. And then you'll probably still have the ability to post it. And then it's very like Chinese government sort of like hyper surveillance land, which for Facebook, I mean, they're a private company, whatever, whatever. I don't use Facebook. I find Facebook to be, I don't know, like a waste of time. I don't like it. I don't like Facebook. I only use it to like self-promote my own stuff, which I know is horrible, but I just am not that interested in Facebook. I don't necessarily need to go see the best of everyone in my life and how amazing and perfect everyone's life is, because that's what Facebook feels like to me. I am more interested in, just putting stuff out there every now and then and trying to use it as a tool, for promotion, because it feels like a promotion tool to me. Now, I understand that there's a bunch of people who use Facebook to stay in touch with other human beings, and they could probably teach me a thing or two about that particular skill set. Hey, look, it's a baby, 700 likes. So I get that. That being said, Facebook, has this kind of impossible task of making sure that no one ever says anything bad or wrong ever, which is going to be incredibly difficult. And so there's just the line. Where do you draw the line? So at what point, look, it's like trying to tell the police how to do their jobs when you're not a cop. That's tough. So what are we going to do? We're going to see policing on Facebook, and that's just the natural evolution of things. That is just the natural evolution of things. So Google says about no follow sponsored and UGC links. This was an In the Weeds article about user-generated content. That's tricky. No follow links, which send no link juice, and sponsored links. So apparently you can give information about all three of those on the website. Okay. 1,000 ranking factors, how Google finds signals through the noise. We talked about this. I think the takeaway was long-form landing pages. Landing pages, if you are unfamiliar, are like, landing pages, if you're unfamiliar, are like this. So you have your main site, and then you've got your key landing pages, which for Send It Rising include like this: web development, social media, pay-per-click, internet marketing, SEO. These are landing pages. So, landing page. Oh, look at it. It's gorgeous. So pretty. How did it get so pretty? So, long-form landing pages make sense. 5 ways SEO and web design go together. Quick load speed. User-friendly. We talked about it. Okay. 7 brand health metrics and how to measure them was a boring article that I did not like. And last but not least, Facebook has a PR problem, apparently. And I would agree with that. Good luck policing the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 11. It is Monday. I hope everyone's having at least a halfway's decent Monday. Mondays tend to kick you square in the butt, so best of luck with that. And we will see you tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Marketing as a Foreign Language. Thank you so much. Thank you for hitting that like button, and we will talk to you later.